Manifested true love with my best friend. My boyfriend and I just celebrated our 1-year anniversary yesterday. He has changed my life. Before meeting him, I was very lonely. That loneliness had gotten me feeling down and depressed, which only complicated my finding a mate. It took me almost 2 years to readjust my thinking. I had to start being happy being alone. I ended one relationship because it was not making me happy. For the first time, I did something for myself. This was a start. But I would continue to settle for less when it came to dating, and when there was a drought in my dating life, I'd blame myself, think there was something just unlovable about me. The hardest thing was to learn to love myself, and to stop settling for less than what I really wanted. I, like many women, struggled with my self-image for most of my life. I grew up being bullied, like many kids go through. But I also amplified those problems because of my own insecurities. Looking back, there were plenty of people who tried to reach out to me, to be my friend, but I was too scared to let anyone in. So growing up, I ate lunch alone every day, and only had 3 or 4 friends, really only one who I'd see every weekend. Growing up isolated also amplified my insecurities. I was overweight, I had curly hair and always wanted straight long sleek shiny hair. I was brunette and wanted to be blonde. I was short and wanted to be tall. I was clumsy and awkward and shy. When I went to college, I lost the weight, over 100 pounds, but by time I graduated college, moved away from my friends, and settled into adulthood, my habits led to gaining back that weight. Now in my late 30s, I am again trying to lose some weight, but not because I hate my body, but because I want to be healthier. I am having some ongoing health issues and need to correct some of my habits to improve my health. There are still things I dislike about my body. My boobs are 2 different sizes, my eyes are puffy, I have a double chin from my weight. But so what? I learned and finally believe that does not mean I'm unlovable. I had to learn this before I could manifest the relationship I wanted and deserved. I have run the full gambit of bad relationships. Trust me, been there, done that, been in physically and emotionally abusive relationships, been with deadbeats, or scrubs, who couldn't financially provide a future, and when I say that, I'm not expecting a sugar daddy. I work and make my own money, but I expect my partner to be just that, a partner, who does his own 50%, works, contributes, and most of all can provide his 50% of a future for us, a life together where we can someday marry and have a family. Some people sadly just aren't ready financially for an adult relationship. We're not kids anymore and my clock is ticking after all. And I've even been with commitment-phobic, emotionally unavailable men who only wanted casual hookups instead of real relationships. But that finally ended when I learned to stop settling for less. When I met my boyfriend in August 2017, I had no idea it would become the relationship of my dreams. We had only been chatting for 2 or 3 weeks, and he had told me, "Too bad you live so far away," which I thought he was trying to discard the idea of meeting up. But for some reason, we kept talking, and decided to go out on our first date on August 27, 2017. I wasn't sure what to expect, since he had already told me I was too far away. I thought maybe it'd just be nice just to go out on a date. I hadn't even been on a date since June 2017, 3 months. And without friends or anyone else my own age to hang out with, I just wanted to have a fun date and be around people. If nothing else, we could have good conversation and a good meal together. After all, we had great chemistry on the phone. I'm very shy, and usually I hate talking on the phone. When I was little, I used to make my mom dial the phone for me to talk to my friend, even because I was afraid of her parents picking up the phone and having to talk to them, even though they were like second parents to me too. Lol. But with this guy, it was different. The first time we decided to call each other, we talked for over 2 hours, and I felt completely at ease with him, and in that 2 or 3 weeks before our first date, we would text and call every day. But when we met in person for our first date, I was still so nervous. We met at his house, but after a brief tour, we left together to go get lunch at a local little restaurant. As we sat across from each other at that meal, I had no idea I was sitting across from the man who would become the love of my life. I could barely talk or barely make eye contact. I was totally shy. I still remember when I pulled into his driveway, and he came out of the house. I was texting my family to let them know I made it okay since it was a long drive, and I heard someone knocking on my window, and I jumped and dropped my phone. I was so startled, but when I looked up, and looked into his eyes, he was smiling at me, and looked completely enchanted by me. I later told my family that I think he likes me because of how he was looking at me. It was a look of love. After having lunch together, we stopped by the grocery store, we picked out some steaks for later, and went back to his house, where we watched TV. I think we watched Avengers and Transformers. And then he cooked dinner for me. Our first kiss was in the parking lot of the grocery store. I was still so nervous, but as he leaned over and kissed me, my nervousness melted away. We spent the rest of the date much more relaxed, engaging in deep conversation and enjoying warmth and physical affection. A complete difference from a few hours before when I was so nervous at lunch. When I left that night, I still wasn't sure if it'd amount to anything beyond a nice evening. The next day, he sent me a text that said, "I think I miss you." He was holding back, and in fact when I left that night, I had asked if I could see him next weekend, and he had told me no, maybe the next weekend after that. But by midweek, he was asking me to come back over that weekend because he missed me so much. We have spent almost every single weekend together in the past year. I learned a lot about myself, and about guys. From my unlucky streak, I learned both my mistakes, and how to better handle rejection or disappointment, or how to best handle men I was interested in to get the reactions and results I wanted. So even though I knew pretty early on, I wanted a relationship with this person, I could tell he needed time. I didn't want to scare him off, so for now, I decided I would just enjoy this, for whatever it was. But I had also made the opposite mistakes in my previous attempts at dating, by being too aloof or too distant, so I had to find the right balance of making clear what I wanted, hoped to happen, while not smothering or putting expectations or burdens on the other person. We talked about our future, and what we both wanted, and he kept saying he wanted to be with me, but that his friends and everyone were telling him to wait, so I told him to take as long as he needed, that my answer wasn't going to change. He said he thought it'd take him 3 months. I said that was fine, that I would wait. Meanwhile, we enjoyed our weekends. We went out on dates. We learned more about each other and we grew closer. It took him 2 months, instead of 3. On October 13th, a Friday the 13th, in 2017, at 11:11 p.m., he asked me to be his girlfriend. I of course said yes. I had been waiting for that for a while already because I already knew he was what I wanted. Since we only spent weekends together, it was only maybe about 8 dates. I know if you're reading my blog, you're probably reading a lot of other things about manifestation and angel numbers, and you probably think I'm silly or making it up, but it really was 11:11 p.m. He told me it was because 11 was his favorite number, his sports number when he was younger and played sports, and he said he wanted to remember that moment forever and that he would never forget it if it was 11:11. In case you don't know, the number 11, and the time 11:11 is directly related to manifestation. It is usually a sign that what you are wanting is about to manifest and that you are on the right track. The number 13 is also very lucky. The number 13 is often considered unlucky by those who are superstitious, but as an angel number 13 is very auspicious. As the combination of numbers 1 and 3, angel number 13 is a sign from your angels you are connected to the ascended masters and their ability to help you manifest your desires. Source: https://thesecretivethetarot.com/angel-number-13/. It felt like a long wait, but it also felt like a whirlwind romance. And that it would happen at 11:11 and on the 13th? That's crazy. That's a definite sign that I manifested this relationship. I finally had what I wanted, a loving, committed relationship with someone attractive, with an outgoing personality, who loved and accepted and cherished me, who was financially stable, who had a high work ethic, and just a positive upbeat personality. He was perfect. Now I understand why it never worked with anyone else. They weren't right for me. God had other plans for me, better plans than all those other things I had thought I had wanted. And it all led me down this path, to what I truly wanted. I just had to improve my self-esteem and learn to be more positive, to open myself to finding real love. And now it has been an entire year. We've made so many memories, experienced so many things. I traveled outside the country for the first time to visit his birth country of Peru. That trip made us so much closer. We've shared every holiday together, from Halloween to Christmas, to Thanksgiving, Easter, both of our birthdays, Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, just everything. Some of my favorite memories include trips to the zoo, sledding in winter, decorating for Christmas, attending family events, going swimming at water parks, going to theme parks, playing board games, card games, and video games at home together, watching movies, cuddling, playing Truth or Dare, which isn't really Truth or Dare since we both always pick truth. It's basically how he got me to open up and start talking more, by making a game out of it, although really all we're doing is taking turns asking each other questions, lol. And of course our trip to Peru. I'm also going through some health issues, possible cancer scare right now, and his support through everything has been amazing. He has taken time off work even to attend doctor appointments with me, just to hold my hand or be by my side. This is real love, a real relationship. I was there to comfort him through the loss of a pet earlier in the year, and now he is there to comfort me through my health issues. We tell each other everything. We both think about, miss each other all of the time when we are apart. We spend every weekend together. Not because it's expected, but because it's our heart's desire to spend our time together. He even told me that in the past with other girls he would feel like he was bored or not want to see them and want space, but with me, he just wants to be with me all the time. Since my last few attempts at love had been with men who didn't make me a priority, or didn't make time for me, I had been trying for several months to manifest something where I could see the person every weekend. I had been journaling and scripting things like, you miss me, so you call me to come over every weekend. Even before I met this person, I knew that I wanted a very close relationship where the person makes an effort to spend time with me, because that had been a problem in my past 2 consecutive attempts at dating. I even scripted exactly some of the dates and some of the things that would happen, such as writing things like, we have a barbecue cookout, and you know I'm shy, so you make an effort to introduce me to all of your friends and make me more comfortable. This has happened multiple times now. Actually, he's the first guy who's made an effort to introduce me and include me in things with his friends and family, and that makes us a lot closer. I've scripted other things, dates we'd gone on, things like lantern festivals, or specific restaurants, all kinds of things that would later happen even though I had scripted many of them before I ever met him. Now we are a year into the relationship and so in love. I could not imagine being with anyone else, and I never would have imagined this is how my life and love would turn out. It is so much more and so much better than anything I had ever tried to manifest. It is real, true love. I'm attracted to him, he's attracted to me. He makes time for me, a priority, an effort, consistency, etc. Just every day our love grows more and more. The beautiful words of the card that he gave to me, words from his heart. This is like a dream, like a fairy tale. I'm with someone that treats me like a goddess. And someone that is all in, committed, devoted, and with someone who gives 110% in a relationship where things are equal. Where we're both doing our fair share, to give and to the seeds we've planted, and watching them blossom into this beautiful relationship of trust, love, friendship, just everything. I hope that this love lasts forever. And I believe that it will continue to grow. But if not, at least I can say this: I have loved. I have been loved. I have experienced a real relationship, and it has changed me. I look at life, at love, at myself, and other people so differently now. I know that even if this love should end, I know now that real love exists in this world, and that I too can have a relationship that I deserve and that I dream of.